Vehicle spare parts delivery to the silver plant in Zherbai Quarries. Hello there everybody and welcome to another exciting episode of SnowRunner here at OpenFed Gaming. I am the OpenFed. We are just leaving the garage in Zherbai Quarries, which is the only map in the Almaty region, and we're leaving the garage in our Kenworth 963. We're going to be attempting to finish off the In the Ruins of Former Glory task, which is part of the KAZ Minerals PLC contract. Now in this task we gotta pick up 4 vehicle spare parts pallets over by the fuel station, and behind it there's a warehouse where we can pick them up, and we're gonna deliver them and hopefully finish this task, leaving us only with, I believe, 1 more task to complete, or maybe 2 more tasks to complete before Zherbai Quarries is completely finished. Now we're just heading south, and for any of you that have been watching my videos, you know that there's a warehouse coming up on the left hand side. We'll pull a little bit of a detour around them and head on down to the little city that's just south of here. Then we got to just kind of go around the block to get to the warehouse in behind the fuel station. We'll get there in a second. Absolutely fantastic day for our delivery. We're going to try and put 3 vehicle spare parts pallets on the bottom, and we're going to put the 4th one on top and hold it with the crane. Now the reason being for that is that the OpenFed is not that great at pulling a trailer, and I didn't really want to do this particular task in 2 sections with a different truck, or do 3 with the Kenworth and then deliver 1 more with something else. So we're gonna just try, we're gonna do all 4 at the same time. Now you can see the black arrow in the yellow diamond box on the left hand side of the screen there pointing up. Now when it points up, that means that that's where your cargo is. When it points down, that's where you gotta deliver. Just in case you didn't know that. Some of us don't, but most of us who play SnowRunner know about that. Now we gotta turn in up on the next one. I wasn't quite sure which one I had to turn left on. We got to go in right here. I'm gonna drive right over top of that sign that was right at the corner, because it's not a very good spot for that sign. It's now gone. Now we can either go in the top end here, or we can go in the bottom end, and we decided it might be easier if we jockey back and forth into the top, the bottom end there, and then just come out the other end. It should be just fine. It's going to be a little tight. There's not a lot of room, especially when you're using the truck as big as the Kenworth. It is, I believe, one of the biggest, if not the biggest truck in the game. The Plaid 450 is also a very big truck, and there's a few other ones that are pretty big, but I think this one ranks right near the top. So when we get up to the loading zone here, we'll drop 1 load onto the loading deck, and we'll put 3 onto the back of the truck. Now you can't see the one being dropped on the loading deck because the graphic is in the way, but there it is. Then we're just going to pick it up with the crane, drop it on the back, and just kind of push the crane down on top of it and hold it there for the journey. Should be okay back there. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. There again, all the loads that are on the flat deck are strapped down with tie downs, and the load on top, you're going to be holding it with the crane. So even if the load slipped off to the side and bounced a little bit, you still wouldn't lose it because it's attached with the cable of the crane. Now the only drawback, of course, when you're using the crane this way is that you don't have the winch, because the winch and the crane are interchangeable, but you can only use one at a time. You cannot use them both at the same time. So keep that in mind. If you think you're going to need the winch to pull yourself through some bad spots, you're not going to be able to, or you could still put a cargo on top like that and hope you don't lose it as you're using your winch pulling yourself through. So you can try that too. And you can usually be pretty successful. I've done that before. If I really need to use the winch, I'll let go of my cargo, use the winch, and then I'll grab a hold of the cargo once I'm through the trouble spot. As simple as that. Now, heading south here, if you we've been this way a few times, and if you remember any of the videos that you've seen where I'm heading south, you know that we're going to have to go through some washed out road area. There's a couple more detours and then some watery areas when we got to drive through, and we've been through there a few times with different vehicles. And some of the vehicles I went through there with the Western Star 6900 twin steer, and he does not do all that well in deep water. The Avonhorn did quite well, and the Kenworth does quite well too, but it'd be better if I could use the winch. But we're going to try today without the winch and see how well it does. So as we're coming around the corner here, you just slow down a little bit for the turns. I always try to miss the rocks as much as I can, especially the bigger ones. You have to watch out for the bigger ones, but the small ones you just kind of ignore them and drive through them. And as we're coming up around this turn here, whoa, a little bit close to the guardrail, a couple more turns, and we're going to have a detour on the right hand side over a bunch of rocks and mud, because there's a washed out road up ahead, the first washed out road section that we got to bypass, and then there's a few more after that. Around the corner, and then you'll be able to see it on the right hand side of the road, just past. Further down the road. I guess I was a little bit premature. There it is. There it is. See, you can't go straight because they got the barriers there and the road is all broken up. You don't want to go in there. Well, this side part is not much better, but at least we can keep the truck level and we can sort of more or less drag our truck through here fairly decent. But down below it's a little bit harder because we got some pretty flooded areas, but that's okay. We're just going to take our time and slowly drag the truck through there, and we should be okay. We can get these parts over to the plant, and the plant can start refining the silver and finish its job and get it up and running full tilt. Now we're just going to the daytime ahead again through the magic of video editing, and we're going to drag this truck through the water here. Now you do get tired of this after a while. I guess it's kind of like driving through really deep mud or really deep snow. It's only fun for the first few times. Now I wanted to stay a little bit to the left hand side in this here crossing. I've been playing with it, going from one side to the other to see where there's better traction, but there doesn't seem to be much of a rhyme or a reason to which side of the water you want to cross through, I suppose. You just gotta jump in there with all 6 tires and hope for the best. Hopefully pick the right spot. Now I do know on that very last one, not this one, but there's 3 of them that you got to go look at it. That's quite a dip, quite a hole at the end of the pavement there. And you can try and move your wheels back and forth, your steering wheels. And sometimes that helps a little bit. It's kind of hard to see whether you're actually moving or not, but if you look at a stationary point, you can see that he is advancing. And moving your tires back and forth does give you some extra grip. Sometimes it helps, but sometimes it's just, you got to have a little bit of patience. And he eventually climbs out of the water. Now this last one here, I found every time I've gone through there, if you stay a little close to the right hand side, the rocks, as close as you can, you get a little bit better traction. She tilts a little bit to the left, but it has better traction than if you would have gone to the left part of the water hole there. See, at least he's pulling it through. He's going to make it okay. Yeah, we got one more little area, another bridge that's been washed out, broken down and washed out. Not a fixable bridge, so we end up having to take the detour every time we come this way, which is okay. The detour is not that difficult. Just to the left-hand side here, As you can see straight in front of you there, the bridge is all broken. And we're just gonna claw through this little bit of muddy area. Not really a big problem when you got tires as big as the one that Kenworth's got. I believe he's got the biggest tires in the game. I believe he's got the, I think, or maybe the Caterpillar might be the only one that's got tires a little bit bigger. But anyhow, it's not going to take long to get through here, and then we're back up on the paved road. And once we get up there, if you look up ahead, you can see the arrow for the drop-off is already on the screen, and the silver plant is right there. So we're almost there. Absolutely fantastic. Enjoyed that. I love these deliveries that don't take too long or don't have too much of a problem. Sometimes you just like to get the job done, get from point A to point B. Really enjoyed this one. I hope you enjoyed watching it and maybe got some tips out of it that you never saw before, or maybe you just like watching it for the fun of it and enjoy the videos, and share it with your friends, like it, and hit that subscribe button if you don't want to miss any of the upcoming videos. Until then, you've been delivering vehicle spare parts to the silver plant in Zherbai Quarries in the Kenworth 963 with me, the Opafed.